Hey everyone, you may have noticed that I live streamed myself last night while sleeping, and I gave a little speech about what Thanksgiving means to me. There's a reason I did that. I'm recording this in 2020, and obviously a lot of focus on this year is how do we spend Thanksgiving safely with our family. And unfortunately, the word family is very overemphasized in the discussion. I think Zoom has increased some of its features for us to use today. But I want to emphasize that spending Thanksgiving by yourself is just as fun and just as important, right? It's important for the single person to be thankful for what has happened this year. For me, I'm very thankful that this year has brought an opportunity for me to clean up some of my lifestyle habits. I had binge eating problems going into the year. I'm very thankful for that. And part of the reason that I had binge eating problems was because I was in a relationship that I was not exactly happy with. Well, I was happy with it, but I was unhappy about the fact that I didn't have myself. And 2020 has allowed me to go back to enjoying time with myself. And unfortunately, it doesn't get a whole lot of press coverage. So that's why I put out some press coverage on this topic. Unfortunately, I only got 3 or 4 views, but I'm very happy for the 3 or 4 views that I did get. One thing that I've been doing a lot better, well, not better, but more of, is I've been sleeping a whole lot more this year. Unfortunately, the scheduling of the sleep is something that I should be working on, but I've been getting more sleep. I like sleeping because I get to dream, and sometimes I get to problem solve in my dream. About 1.5 years ago, I had a nightmare. I dreamt that I went to a conference in another part of the world, and my ex-girlfriend was there. She also studied theoretical computer science. And at the conference, she is now married. She isn't married in real life, but in my dream she was. And as we were getting to the elevator to go to the conference room, I was holding the door for the two of them, and my ex-girlfriend looked at her husband and said, don't get in the elevator with this guy. He has a disease. And it was at that time that I woke up shaking and sweating, and I inferred that the disease referred to my binge eating problems, because I had binge eating problems when I was with her too. And I frantically, I swore not to eat until at least like 5 p.m. that night, if I remember correctly, and I made it. And I still felt very self-conscious about the whole thing, because I always dream things that I subconsciously know. Like, usually dreams that I have don't come out of nowhere. I subconsciously know I have a problem, and that's why I dream it. That's why I dream about potentially having troubles at work, having troubles in relationships. I dream about, for example, if I know that I'm not taking good care of my hygiene, I dream about problems about it, just like the eating disorder kind of problem. So I swore off food for the rest of that day, and I still couldn't understand why I had dreamt it in that regard. I mean, I knew I needed to clean up my eating habits. A couple months later, I had a problem at work relating to my eating disorder again. I was arguing with people just because I wasn't feeling right from not getting my food. I went home and I had another dream about losing my job and all that. And this was toward the end of the year, 2019. I thought, that's it. I need to do something about it. And so on New Year's Day, I fasted 28, 29 hours, I think. And then for the beginning of Lent, I fasted. You guys saw the one at the beginning of Lent. It was 52 hours. Finally, in March, I finally had an answer for why I dreamt that my ex-girlfriend didn't want to get into the elevator with me. We were all avoiding getting elevators with each other, and that made me feel better, that I had an answer for that, because I thought I had something wrong with me. And, okay, so I used the opportunity to really clean up my eating habits, clean up my, see, what was really nice about this year is that it's pretty routine to not eat in the office. I used to have to justify to other people why I'm fasting. People get insanely curious about everybody's personal habits, right? They won't just take, I'm not eating right now as a final answer, right? They want to know every little detail. And this is ridiculous in my opinion, because imagine I went up to a coworker of mine who has a health problem and I dig into it, right? Imagine he has something that's visible. Let's say I have a coworker who comes in a wheelchair and I ask him what would happen if he stood up, or why does he need a wheelchair? What kind of problem? When did he start developing? See, you would never do that, right? Or I have a coworker who maybe he's overweight, and I ask him how did he become overweight? What did he do wrong so I could avoid it? Right? You would never do that. But when it's something involving your eating habits, I don't know why. I think it's ridiculous in my opinion. But here in 2020, I don't have to worry about that. I just put on a mask, and nobody will eat in the break room anyway. We're probably not even supposed to, and that's good. Anyway, so I'm thankful that I've had this opportunity to clean up my diet. I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to break up with my girlfriend and make that smooth transition without having to break up, right? That could have been harder to do if we didn't have to stay 6 feet apart, right? And I'm thankful that I get to stay home alone on Thanksgiving without too many. And in fact, people I think are thankful that I'm staying home alone on Thanksgiving now, right? Thanks for watching.